Hi, I'm Marg Smith, the Coaching Godmother, www.thecoachinggodmother.com, and I'd like to talk to you today about a story that I call The Big Rocks. You know, if you were to take a jar and get a whole lot of big rocks and put them into the jar, and until the rocks came to the top, would you think that the jar was full? Actually, some of you might say yes, but the jar isn't full. If you take some smaller rocks and start to put them into the jar, they'll fit in between the bigger rocks and they'll make their way down the jar until there's smaller rocks in the jar as well. And then I might say, is the jar full now? And you might say yes. However, the jar is still not full. If I was to give you some sand and tell you to start emptying the sand into the jar so it goes in between the rocks and in between the small rocks and settles in there and comes to the top, would you say the jar is now full? And you'd probably say yes. But you know what? It's still not full, because if I gave you some water and told you to slowly pour the water on top of the sand, the water would push the sand down into all the tiny little holes and crevices, and it would fill the jar up until the jar had water to the top. Is the jar full now? Yes, the jar's full. And the purpose of this story is that I wanted to relate this to you in your life. So if we think of the big rocks as the important things in our life, the things that we have to do all of the time, so dealing with our family, dealing with our job, organizing all the important things in our life, and then if we think of the smaller rocks as something, you know, that we need to do but isn't quite so important. For example, we might decide that we need to go shopping for some new clothes, or we need to go and buy something new, or we might take the kids to the park. And then when we talk about the sand, that's the really tiny, you know, things that really aren't important at all, but they still need to go into our life. And then we talk about the water, which is really insignificant, but people just put it into their lives anyway. And that could be something even like gossip or talking about other people. They could be wasting time. So it's something that they do, but it's wasted time. So the purpose is, when you look at your life and you want to put things into your life, you make sure that you put the big things in first. You make sure that your life is filled with the important things, the things such as family, things that you do with your family, enjoying special time with your family. And then you put the smaller rocks in. So like I say, there are other things that you might like to do. You might like to go to the gym, or you might like to go shopping, or might like to meet the girls for coffee. And whilst it's important, it's not quite as important as being with your family. And then the sand, and then the water. So if you try and put all the unimportant things into your life first, such as the gossip and wasting time with other people, when the time comes and you want to put the bigger things into your life, you're not going to have space. So imagine filling the jar with water, the same amount of water, then putting the sand in, and then putting the little rocks in. You'd get the little rocks in, but there's no way you're going to fit those big rocks in, because the big rocks have to come first. So in your life, it's exactly the same. Pay attention to the things in life that are the most important to you. So they're the big rocks in the jar. Make sure you're doing them first. And if you're not sure and you just need a little bit of guidance, pop over to my website, thecoachinggodmother.com. You can email me, or you can look at the products that are for sale over there that are going to help you through in both CD and digital download. So once again, thecoachinggodmother.com. I am Marg Smith, the Coaching Godmother, www.thecoachinggodmother.com, and I just tell it like it is.